Good day, Black Knight scholars. It's Mr. Deegan in the VidNotes zone 6-4. Please write the learning target now. I will understand older empires in Africa and India. That's right, we're going back into time to talk about the year 1500. In Africa, there was this empire in the West, the Songhai Empire. And in India, there was this empire in the north of that region, the Mughal Empire. Let's talk about them. First, where is the Songhai Empire? On your map, please draw it, shade it in, draw the arrow, and then label it. So you're looking at this map and you are drawing this little blob here in the western part of Africa. Do it the best that you can. Where were the Trans-Saharan trade routes? There's another map of Africa. I would like you, please, to also draw it, shade it in, and label it. So here it is in Cairo, and then all of these trade routes seem to be in the western part, the northwestern part, and then just shade in that once you have it. The Songhai Empire in 1500. Let's talk about it.
The most successful ruler of the Songhai Empire was Askia the Great. He built a reputation for the empire. The empire existed from 1464 until 1591, and it existed in Western Africa. You see here, just south of the Sahara Desert and near the Atlantic Ocean coast. Who lived in the Songhai Empire? Well, people who lived there were farmers and traders who practiced the religion of Islam, making them Muslims. And as I said, they were active traders. The Niger River, which you see here, flows through the Songhai Empire, and it connected the Trans-Saharan trade route to the Atlantic Ocean. Why was this empire significant? Well, one point was that it had a well-educated society. A visitor to the empire in 1513 said this in his journal. Here, there are many doctors, judges, priests, and other learned men that are well maintained at the king's cost. Various written books are brought here out of Barbary and sold for more money than any other merchandise. Books were important. Education was emphasized. In addition, the Songhai Empire of Africa participated in the slave trade. That same visitor had this to say in his journal. Here, there is a certain place where slaves are sold, especially on those days when the merchants are assembled. And a young slave of 15 years of age is sold for 6 ducats, and children are also sold. The king of this region has a certain private palace where he maintains a great number of slaves. So Askia the Great encouraged the slave trade. The Songhai Empire also traded often with Europe and the Americas. And the Songhai Empire exported slaves, ivory from elephant tusks, and gold. It imported and brought into its empire manufactured goods from Europe, Asia, and the Americas, and new foods. We talked about that with the Columbian Exchange. Corn and peanuts from the Americas were brought into Africa.
Now let's talk about the Mughal Empire in India. First, where is the Mughal Empire? Like the Songhai Empire, let's take this blank map that you have and let's draw in and shade in the area on this map. So you're including most of India and Pakistan and some of China, and then you're shading that in. Do that now on your map. Now let's label the countries in this region of the world today. So there are 4 countries I'd like you to label. So you're going to draw a dot, an arrow, and then label, boop, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Pause it and do that now. Pause. Now, the story. How did the Mughal Empire start? The rulers of the Mughal Empire were descendants of the Mongols. The Mongols were a nomadic group. Nomadic, meaning that they moved their homes around often, and they lived in Central Asia in the 1200s and the 1300s. They were known to be good fighters, as you see in this picture, and as a result, they conquered much land. How much land, you ask? Take a look at this. They start here, north of China. Whoa, it's growing. It's growing. The amount of land they conquer encompasses Asia and the Middle East. Babur, who is he? In 1526, this man, the Emperor Babur, founded the Mughal Empire, which is located in northern India. Babur and the Mughals bring the religion of Islam into India. Such an important point. And here's the crescent moon and star of Islam. Why is this important? Because the area had been mostly Hindu until this point. So now you have two different religions, two different cultures in the territory. And I can tell you that that tension will lead to conflict later on, the Hindu-Muslim tension. So be prepared for that in the next lesson. But for now, on we go. A building built out of love. One of the most famous pieces of architecture in world history was built by the people of this very Mughal Empire. It is called the Taj Mahal. There it is. Maybe you've seen it in pictures. How do you spell it? That's how you spell it. What is the love story? In 1632, the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan was devastated, depressed. That's how you spell Shah Jahan, by the way. And Jahan's wife had just died while giving birth to her 14th child. And the wife's name is Mumtaz Mahal, by the way. To honor her life, Jahan ordered that the building of the Taj Mahal start. And the Taj Mahal is named after this woman, Taj Mahal. There you go. The burial site. Who is buried in this beautiful building? It is where both Mahal and Jahan are buried. And here you see the tomb that you can view even today of the two lovebirds. It took 22 years to build, by the way, and there are 28 types of jewels built into the marble of the Taj Mahal. It cost about $827 million in American dollars today to build this structure. It was quite a feat. And there is a sketch of what it might have looked like as it was being built, the Taj Mahal. Let's talk more about the Mughal Empire. It was a hotspot for European trade. Why? The Mughal Empire was a hotspot because since the time of Da Gama, and there's Vasco da Gama, he took his sailors around Africa to get to India. Since that time, Europeans have been interested in Indian products. During the Mughal Empire, Portugal, the Netherlands, and Britain set up trading outposts there. These three countries all wanted a piece of the Indian pie. Why? The Mughal Empire trades these goods and exports them to Europe. Textiles, spices, silks, and gems. They all go to Europe, and they're all in demand by European merchants and European citizens. The British especially love Mughal textiles. The British loved the Mughal textiles so much, in fact, that in 1612, British businessmen set up the East India Company in India. And this is the logo of the East India Company that Britain creates. Do the Mughals like this foreign company in their own country, in their own empire? No, there's conflict, and this is a preview. There will be conflict. The British presence in India, in pink, you see the area where the British East India Company controls. This will lead to conflict in India, as you see here. the Indians will not have foreign presence for very long. You're almost done. We have the research question left. Think of one question that you'd like to ask from this lesson. Write it down. And when you're done with that, you are done with the 6-4 VidNotes. This is Mr. Deegan in the VidNotes zone saying goodbye.